So, good evening, everyone. Let us start with our Avadon class. Today, we are going further from Aphorism 47 onwards. Before we start with 47, let's have a small recap what we have done. In the last class, we discussed about the 11 examples given in Aphorism 46 regarding the interaction of two similar diseases meet together. Diseases in the form of natural diseases, diseases due to the inoculations, diseases due to the vaccination, and we saw all these 11 examples that how the stronger one is extinguishing, removing away, sending away the weaker similar disease. Sometimes we may find that reading two names of the diseases, it seems as if they are not similar. But my request that once when anyone is saying something, we need more clarification, exploration. And the best way will be that whatever the diseases Hahnemann is comparing, let's go into the practice of medicine and search the symptoms, explore the symptoms of that disease, and compare it with each other. It is going to give us a better idea. Now, in 46, we left one aphorism which is given in example number 9 in the footnote 1 as per my book. In that, he is telling in this footnote that in the previous edition, means in the 4th edition, Henman talked about some examples in which he told that how when somebody is going to get some itch disease, because of having that natural itch disease, patient is suffering with asthma which has been cured like this, and he has given some such examples in the chronic disease first edition he published in 1828. Let us just read this aphorism, footnote of this aphorism 46, example 9. That says, the examples adduced in this place in the former editions of the Agrawal, means 4th edition and before, except the last, that is the 5th one. In the 5th, it is not given. Of chronic maladies cured by the itch. And it has got a reference here at the itch in the appendix. If you go in the appendix, what are you going to find here? You're going to find those examples. You can read that. According to the discoveries of the and explanations I had given in the first part of my book on chronic diseases, be looked upon as only in certain degree homeopathic cures. The great maladies which thereby disappeared, suffocative asthma of many years, standing, and pulmonary tuberculosis. Pulmonary phthisis. Phthisis is tuberculosis. Were themselves originally of soric origin, widely spread, life-threatening symptoms of an ancient sora that has fully developed in the interior of the system, which was again transformed into the simple form of primitive itch disease by the cutaneous eruption resulting from the new disease, as always happens in such cases, whereby the old malady and the dangerous symptoms were made to disappear. Such a transformation into primitive form is therefore only to be considered as a homeopathic healer of these extensive symptoms of highly developed ancient sora, insofar as the new infection puts the patient in a much more favorable condition to be cured of the whole sora by the antisoric medicine. So idea is here is to understand that when you are going to compare the disease, in every disease, if we are reading about measles, please read with complications. Don't leave complications, because whatever the complications of the measles, they are also somewhere very near to the measles also. Each disease has got a complication that it some at one stage of time turns into asthma, tuberculosis. So in that, so such conditions, what is required? You are to think that when each disease is going to come, these diseases are going to be cured. You can just read examples given in the appendix, going to give you a much better and clearer idea. Or if any other thing you find, you can just put me a question here, we can discuss. Going further to the aphorism 47. And in 47, immediately about this aphorism, there is something Henman wants to say, means Richard Hughes and R.E. Legend wants to say in appendix also. So what is that? Appendix says regarding 47, instead of aphorism 47 to 50, the first edition has the following. So here in the appendix, certain aphorisms are quoted. These were the aphorisms were there. Instead of 47 to 50, the aphorisms text written 31, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. All these aphorism text was a part of the aphorism 47 to 50. And if we just see with the contents regarding the 47, what we are finding, we find that 47, 48, and 49. These aphorisms are clubbed together in the contents table. And what he is going to tell us, I am reading from the table of contents. In cases where diseases come together in the course of nature, it is only one that displays similar symptoms that can remove and cure the other. A dissimilar disease can never do this. This should teach the physician what kind of medicines he can certainly cure with, namely with homeopathic ones only alone. So idea is that from 47 to 49, Hanman is just going to tell us about the summary of the things we have been studying about the interaction of diseases. We read in couple of the aphorisms previously uh, regarding the interactions of the diseases. In that we read what happens when two similar diseases meet together, and we found that there are three conditions happens. And ultimate learning is whether any disease suspend or run its course, but then no dissimilar disease is setting aside the other similar disease. One. But altogether different. When two similar diseases meet together, there only one condition appears, that the stronger similar will surely, definitely, readily, rapidly, permanently remove the weaker one. And we have got so many examples. When you have such kind of experiences, such kind of examples before you, now as a physician, you tell me, after having so many of such examples and explanations, do you still need some more explanations or some more kind of mm, evidences to choose a medicine which is similar? I think as such, it has become so crystal clear that the possibility of cure is possible only when you are treating with something similar, because dissimilar cannot cure. These are the ultimate learning we get from the interaction of diseases. Henman explained in these examples. See, from 22nd aphorism onwards, we are now going to touch aphorism 50. Henman has so elaborately discussed about the therapeutic law, which law has to be adopted. Up to see 22 to 50, Henman is talking about the law, which therapeutic law is applicable for what? For the purpose of curing something, removing a disease rapidly, readily, surely, permanently. Because until you just use these phrases, transient period, the medicine based on contraria also transient period, for a period of short time, they also put the disease under suspension, put the disease aside, suspended, or you can say palliated. So it always come back with rather greater force. So we are to understand that the law which is similar, which is contraria based, does not do things surely permanently. But law of similia based treatment does the thing surely as well as permanently. So these are the things Hanman actually giving us the impression, understanding, our conviction. He's just explaining his experiences, his observations, and his understanding, taking into account the observations of many authorities of his time. That these are the things, and you also observe, and you will find out that what are the kind of situations when two diseases are interacting with each other. So let us start with the 47. What is he saying? Says, nothing could teach the physician in a plainer and more convincing manner than the above. What kind of artificial morbific agent, means medicine, he ought to choose in order to cure in a sure, rapid, and permanent manner, comfortably, conformably with the process that takes place in the nature. Henman wants to say, if you want things to be done in this fashion, that something cured purely, something cured surely, permanently, you should do things as nature is doing. That is by the natural law of similia utilized in the nature as observed by him and many more authorities Henman has quoted. And on that basis, it is very easy to learn in a very plain and convincing fashion that are to you are obliged to follow the nature to cure. That is choosing law of similarity. He says, Ought to choose. When he says ought to choose, means ought to means that something for which we are obliged to do, for which something necessary to be done. There is no such alternative. There are no options. We don't have any option other than choosing the law of simile. And above examples given are enough to not simply go away, drift away what nature is doing. This is what Hahnemann is going to teach us. Still, he says, still you need examples. Still you need such kind of explanations. Enough I have told you with the to convince you, to teach you very plainly. I am not giving you very big, beautiful words. I am giving you straight away the facts. He told us in all these aphorisms the facts. He is not giving us any philosophy lectures. Nothing philosophy. What we have read, two dissimilar diseases meet together. Is there any philosophy? No such philosophy. No such. When I say philosophy, means that he is not giving us any arguments. He is giving us the facts. You see, these are the facts noted by me, noted by so many authorities. That no such disease is actually going to be cured with the dissimilar kind of disease. And every disease similar, the stronger remove the weaker. This is every time compulsorily seen. This is the nature's way of doing things. So follow the nature's way. Definitely, the old school physicians were also following the nature's way. This is how the difference of the observation occurs. Hahnemann's observation is rather much more broader. Instead of the very quick and very erroneous observation done by the old school, because of which they were following the nature, means that do as nature is doing, means if suppose nature is producing vomiting, you also produce vomiting. In that, they utilize the medicine which are capable of producing vomiting. This is one way of erroneous, quick, and haphazard observation done by some of the physicians for last 2500 years. But the right observer, the Hahnemann, and he also saw Hippocrates observing the same way, and many, many more. And he told, no, the nature is actually teaching this. So don't really erroneously doing things, instead do things in a right way as nature is doing, in confirmation with the nature. So enough is enough to make you understand with the facts, and it does not give any other scope to you to choose the medicine for any illness based on law of simile. This is 47. And in the 48 he says, neither in the course of nature, as we see from all the above examples, nor by the physician's art, can an existing affection or malady in any one instance be removed by a dissimilar morphic agent. He says, not from the nature you observe, also not from the physician's erroneous art utilized by the old physician, old school physician. That no such dissimilar morphic agent, means a medicine which is dissimilar in relationship with the existing disease. Whatever may be the strongness of the medicine, generally in the clinic of yours or mine, so many of the physicians observe. Patient comes and says, Doctor Saab, give me a strong medicine to be all right. So when a patient comes to me and says such kind of phrase, strong medicine, I always tell them, medicine should be the right one. Strong medicine is not a guarantee to cure. So Henman says, be it ever so strong, but solely by one that is similar in symptoms and in somewhat stronger. He is again repeating aphorism 26. According to eternal, irrevocable law of nature, which have not hitherto been recognized. In the last 2500 years, this observation is not recognized. You see how erroneous we were in the school of medicine, how erroneous we were. It was the observation of the accurate observation of the Hahnemann, the precise observation of the Hahnemann made us to know that law, which is eternal and irrevocable law, that you choose a medicine which is similar in symptoms and is somewhat stronger in the strength. When it happens so, such a medicine is going to cure. This is the right medicine for the patient. But whatever may be the medicine which is dissimilar in the relationship with the symptoms, be it ever so strong, doesn't matter. It will not cure it. Because it does not happen in nature, in natural diseases interaction. That is never a law. But rather the law is does not cure. The similar does not cure. Similar does cure. It's a irrevocable law. It is a eternal laws. Both are eternal laws. We are to understand this, that what is not really useful is the eternal irrevocable law. What is always useful is eternal irrevocable law. This is about 48. And what 49 says, we should have been able to meet with many more real, natural homeopathic cure of this kind if, again, in this aphorism, such a small aphorism but very important aphorism, because he's going to give us something very, very important. He is using two if in this aphorism, and he is using two on the other hand, if on the other hand, if on the other hand. Two if he is using, in which first if, then on the other hand, and the second one on the other hand if. Now, what does it mean? Let's read the aphorism first and then we discuss. We should have been able to meet with many more real, natural homeopathic cures of this kind if, on the other hand, the attention of the observers have been more directed to them. One point. Then he says, and on the other hand, if nature had not been so deficient in helpful homeopathic diseases. So what actually he wants to convey? Let's understand that what actually he wants to convey here with this aphorism. Now, in this aphorism 49, he's just going to give us a certain kind of change of the thoughts. What is that change of the thought? Now, after discussing so many aphorisms, like right from 34 to 48, so many aphorisms, some 14, 15 aphorisms, we have been discussing regarding the interaction of diseases. After knowing so much of the interactions of the diseases, natural diseases, we can think that all these natural diseases or the inoculations of the natural diseases or the vaccinations made from the natural diseases, the whole treatment should be within this much, and there is no other medicinal agents, and that is rather not required. Or saying very simply, that only natural diseases are enough and should be the way of treatment. If I am suffering with a uh, severe itch-like disease like Sora, I should be waiting and praying to get measles. Is this possible? Still, there are n number of diseases, many natural diseases. Are we sure that we have for each natural disease, we have each natural homeopathic disease which will come and cure us? These are the 2 points. That it is good that physicians should observe in the nature that some natural disease is getting cured by another natural disease, as we had so many examples in Aphorism 46. We should observe more and more. This is the first if. If we find many more such homeopathic natural diseases. And the second if that says that the truth is that we are in deficiency of such natural diseases. We do not have. And how far it is going to be useful, what should be our understanding. We just saw one very positive aspect of the interaction of natural diseases, that we come to know some eternal irrevocable law. We saw the facts of such happenings regarding the law of similia. But a physician does not make a opinion that natural diseases are enough, because they are quite less. And whosoever and whatsoever diseases, natural diseases are there, is this safe? Is this the safe mode of treatment? This is the understanding required. Read the aphorism again. We should have been able to meet with many more real natural homeopathic cures of this kind. Means what we read in Aphorism 46, a physician and observer, he should look into the nature if we have more and more such similar diseases. We should have been able to meet with many more real natural homeopathic cures of this kind. If, on the other hand, the attention of the observers have been more directed to them. If observer is going to look into the nature, we have to see, are we getting so many diseases which are going to be homeopathic to the other natural diseases? And on the other hand, if nature had not been so deficient in helpful homeopathic diseases, and now such homeopathic diseases are really not in that deficiency. If we have n number of natural diseases, then we should have n number of similar natural diseases. We have to observe two things: seeing such interactions and knowing more and more diseases. But if they are available, means if you just understand the whole meaning of the aphorism, that there are very less natural diseases homeopathic to other natural diseases. So this is what he made to understand the darker side of this interaction, that such interactions are enough to make a physician understand that what is the law working behind. But it cannot be the practice, it cannot be the therapeutics, it cannot be possible that you only depend on natural diseases, because they are very less. You cannot completely finish the other diseases only with a few of the natural diseases. I read it from the other book, or really make you very clear. We would have been able to find many more natural, genuine homeopathic cures of this kind if the attention of the observers had been more directed to them, and if nature were not so lacking in helpful homeopathic diseases. A observer should be observing such kind of interactions of the diseases, know more diseases, and after knowing more diseases, what are you going to come to know? That there are very less number of such diseases which are enough to cure a few of the diseases, but not all natural diseases. So this cannot be the practice. Do you find enough, or you want that there are many more such hazards, safety issues in the treatment? The most important thing is safety issue. Safety is first. Hippocrates said, primum non nocere. First of all, do no harm. So we cannot do like this, that you are suffering with this skin eczema. I am going to introduce within you the cowpox. It will cure it. Okay, good enough. Who patient? Which patient is going to accept this? Because everyone will be anxious. Everyone will be anticipating that it is a dangerous way of practice. It is not safe because you are introducing another disease to cure one. What is the guarantee the second one will go away itself? So the point is safety, the hazards of such kind of treatment. So in the next aphorism, aphorism 50, Hahnemann is talking to us about these hazards. So let us just have a glimpse of aphorism 50. What Hahnemann is saying about the aphorism 50. So, aphorism 50, you can say that why medicines are better at curing than our natural diseases. We need medicines because there is a safety. Giving a pulsatilla is rather safe than introducing measles in somebody for curing. I hope you agree with me at this point. This is the point he is discussing in this aphorism. He is talking us about the disadvantages of diseases. The natural diseases cannot be medicines for the safety issues. What are the hazards? Let us know in short what are the hazards. First of all, as I discussed with you, the safety issue. Second is the duration. Whatever the natural disease you have introduced in somebody for curing some other disease patient suffering. Now, this introduced disease, all right, similar, stronger, everything. But then, for how long it is going to remain in the patient? The duration. First is safety, second is duration, and the third one is that how many diseases you are going to cure with this. Are going to cure many number of diseases with this? Generally, it is not really possible. But one thing is possible. At last, in the aphorism, he says that one thing is possible, that you learned a law. You learned a law that similarity cures. See, in the aphorism 50, last line, Hahnemann talks in the italics. Again, be careful. He is talking in italics. Everything important, but some important when is in italic is something of very highest order of importance. What he says, cure by symptom similarity. It's curing by symptom similarity. This is the law we have learned. This much is enough to understand from the natural diseases interaction. And you see that before Aphorism 50, he started about the concept of therapeutic law from Aphorism 22. And in the Aphorism 50, he concludes, after giving so much of the explanations, that cure by symptom similarity. He, before Aphorism 50, Hahnemann did not declare. He gave us the facts. Yes, here in this case, the similarity cured. Here in this case, the similarity did not cure. In this case, we find there are two laws, law of similia and law of contraria, which can work. He is talking in these factual terms, but he is not right from the beginning declaring. Aphorism 22, he told us about the law, contraria and similia. 23rd, he says, what happens with similia and what happens with contraria. And I find, Hahnemann says, I find that the similarity cures. He's talking about the similarity that, yes, it cures. But then for the purpose of examining whether I am saying right, he examined it in the nature. He examined it in the natural diseases interaction. Like this, after doing a very thorough, elaborate exploration and examination, which you and me is going to be convinced, yes, there is no other option than the law of similia. Then only he declared in Aphorism 50, yes, the similarity cures. This is the most followed example in the research. In the recent research methodology, things are explained in this way only. And when we were not in the medicine knowing anything about the research methodology and all, those days, Hahnemann mentioned things in this fashion. Rather, I would say that it is not really wrong to say that the way Hahnemann presented the whole thing before us is nothing but the most earliest research methodology he followed. So we should not be forgetting that the research methodology is first time in the medicine followed by Dr. Hahnemann, and he mentioned this research methodology in the Organon of Medicine. But our difficulty is that we need a methodology which Hahnemann mentioned, but we all are following methodologies. That is why yours homeopathy and my homeopathy. Reading Organon is yours homeopathy also, mine homeopathy also, because we are following one methodology given by Master Hahnemann. That is the importance of reading Organon, that it is not that book that we should simply put it on the table and every day pray on that book. It's not for that way. It's the book which is going to teach us that there is one methodology whatsoever to follow, which is given in the Organon of Medicine by Master Hahnemann. If we all, you and me, read this book for the purpose of learning one methodology, so when a case seen by me, and if after following the methodology given by Master Hahnemann in the Organon of Medicine, X medicine is selected. Now when this case is gone anywhere, those who are homeopathic doctors and follow Master Hahnemann's Organon of Medicine, they must also reach to the same medicine if they are following similar, the the same book, the same methodology, the law of similitude. But because we read the book in a very, very shallow manner and in a very, very selective manner, because of which we developed different methodologies, and we misplaced and tell for one case A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z medicines. It is because of this reason. The purpose of these classes are nothing. The purpose of these kind of classes is nothing but to learn this methodology and put all of us on one page and learn a methodology and not methodologies. So I hope things are quite clear. I'm not going into further details of aphorism 50 now, because then we have to stop in between. We will be reading and learning this aphorism 50 in the next class, which is going to be on Saturday now. Till then, we cover all those aphorisms so far we have read. Read them, understand them, raise questions, and try to read aphorism 50 and sit in the next class, which is going to be on Saturday 5 p.m. and we will be completing aphorism 50 then. Thank you everyone. See you on Saturday.